Tonight, petrol witnesses the highest price increment in recent times, going up by over 2 cedis per litre as oil marketing firms adjust prices for the first pricing window of the month of February. We will bring you details. Also, Melcom branch managers arrested over non-issuance of EVAT.
The managers of those branches, and we are sending them to our head office. The CID will take their statements, and then investigation will start from there.
Aggrieved customers of defunct First Fund threatened to take legal action against the firm's board of directors and the Securities and Exchange Commission over locked-up funds.
We've done investigation. We know where each and every one lives. We will also go and occupy their various homes, because if we cannot have peace in our homes, we will also make sure that you also don't have peace in your various homes. So these are some of the things. As for legal options, we are still exploring the legal options.
Later in the bulletin, entrepreneur Okbel Majdoub recycling used grain sacks into sustainable fashion products. The Joy Business Van features Jakarta today. These and many others come your way in a moment. Please stay. Pleasure you could stay with us. I am Pious Kojo Backah. On to our very first story. The price of petrol has witnessed the highest increase in recent times. This was after some oil marketing firms started increasing prices at the pumps. George Yafe has more.
Based on the adjustment done by 3 of the major oil marketing firms, that is Guel, Total Energies and Shell, petrol went up by over 2 cedis per litre at the pumps. The adjustment can be linked to an increase in price of petrol on the international market and the cedi's sharp depreciation against the dollar some 2 weeks ago. However, diesel, on the other hand, witnessed just about 38 pesos jump from its old price. Some of the operators are linking it to the impacts of the Gold for Oil program, as the first consignment came in some 2 weeks ago. And another development is that price of diesel had been fairly stable on the international market. Engaging some of the oil marketing companies, it is clear that the increase at the pumps was mainly due to challenges with the Ghana cedi some 2 weeks ago. Well, looking at how the Ghana cedi has performed over the past weeks, it is not clear for now how this will impact on the next price review from February 16, 2023.
A while longer in the energy sector, and the Alliance of CSOs working on extractives, anti-corruption and good governance has disclosed that investors' appetite for Ghana's petroleum sector has waned significantly since the last petroleum agreement was awarded to ExxonMobil. According to the group, between 2019 and 2023, the Ministry of Energy and the Petroleum Commission attended 21 conferences and roadshows in America, Europe, and Asia for the purpose of attracting investors. However, there doesn't seem to have any positive results from these conferences and roadshows. Here's Chairman of CSOs, Dr. Steve Mantel, addressing journalists.
Investors' appetite for Ghana's petroleum industry has waned significantly since the last petroleum agreement was awarded to ExxonMobil, who eventually exited for undisclosed reasons. While the government failed to negotiate and conclude negotiations on the blocks won through the open competitive bid round, it embarked on roadshows to attract investments. Between 2009 and 2023, the Ministry and the Petroleum Commission attended 21 conferences and roadshows in America, Europe, and Asia for the purpose of attracting investors. However, there doesn't seem to have been any positive results from these conferences and roadshows. We recommend that government should review its investment attraction strategy, as the current strategy is not delivering the desired results.
Now, managers for Melcom at Kasua, North Kaneshie, and Achimota branches were picked up by the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority for alleged refusal to issue electronic VAT to customers. Today's operation, which focuses on the various Melcom centers, is part of moves by the GRA to ensure total compliance with the electronic VAT laws. Here's a report.
Melcom is among the 50 selected shopping centers being used for the piloting of the Electronic Value Added Tax (EVAT) initiative aimed at improving transparency in tax collections. The three managers picked up from the Kasua, Achimota, and North Kaneshie have been handed over to the Criminal Investigation Department, CID, for further investigations and prosecution. According to Accra Area Manager for Enforcement at the Ghana Revenue Authority, Joseph Annan, these centers were issuing value-added tax invoices outside the electronic system that was installed by the GRA.
In all these places that we have been to, we have arrested the managers of those branches. And we are sending them to our head office. The CID will take their statements and then investigation will start from there. Issuance of non-VAT, the EVAT invoice. Non-EVAT invoice. In all the branches, yes. What it means is that the prescribed invoice that should come out from their system is not what they are issuing out. They are issuing out something else, which does not conform to our requirement.
He has assured that the exercise will continue as more centers are going to be rolled out onto the system this year.
We'll roll out more, but we need to seal all loopholes in our system. Also make sure that the 50 that we have started with are complying. Then we'll move on to bringing others onto the platform.
Meanwhile, there is an ongoing investigation to look at claims of some managers having challenges with the new systems.
And to some other stories, some aggrieved customers of defunct First Fund have threatened to take legal actions against the board of directors of the firm and the Securities and Exchange Commission over their locked-up funds. According to the group, the regulator and the board of directors have failed to fulfill promises and treated the customers with disrespect. They have been speaking to Joy Business's James Ishan.
These are some aggrieved customers contemplating on the way forward after their monies have been locked up for months. In November 2019, the Securities and Exchange Commission, through a press release, revoked the licenses of some mutual fund managers for which First Bank Limited, managers of First Fund, were affected. These customers were given assurance that they won't be affected by the revocation of the licenses of First Bank Financial Services. Thus, SEC will ensure that they are migrated to a new fund manager.
And they informed us that they have done some of the search. They've done some work on their account. They realized that the board had done some bad investments. They've also done some investments. Some of the investments, there are no documentations to assess it. However, they've been able to work out to receive about 8 million from the receiver that received the First Bank Financial Service. And they were waiting for the board to have an annual general meeting and appoint an auditor because Ghana Commercial Bank, which were the custodians of the 8 million cedis, needed those documentation in order to release that amount of money. It seems the board is not forthcoming.
In the last quarter of 2020, TTL Limited was appointed fund manager for First Fund. In August 2021, TTL Limited paid them a paltry 8% of First Fund customers' investments. Octane DC Limited took over the management of the fund from TTL in late 2021.
Here we are, the money has matured. Give me my money, you are saying you are having financial challenges, so you can only honor 20,000 out of 109,000 cities. If you were Manchu, would you agree to this? Within that year, that was not the only investment I lost within that year. I lost 16,000 to First SS Life Assurance Company, which was owned by this man, the man who was the CEO of Capital Bank.
According to Jeff, it appears the problem is coming from the board of directors.
Yes, that is what is happening. From what I have read, from what my friend had briefed me about what is going on, because we have formed more or less a group, and we have executives who are taking care of some of these things, and they have informed us. I'm aware that it is a board, and Octane DC has confirmed that it is a board that is not forthcoming. Fast forward, TTL Capital made us understand that they invested in government bonds, but the receiver hasn't received the money, and that is why they are unable to pay up.
According to these customers, they've been treated by the regulator, board of the fund, and Octane DC Limited with disdain and utmost disrespect.
This is a company that was adjudged the best financial management firm in Ghana for 5 years running. So who would have thought that this company will go down in a second? And again, this is a company whose license was renewed 2 weeks before it was revoked. There hasn't been an AGM. And what we are seeing is that the board is just using these transitions to buy time.
Several letters, according to these customers, to SEC and the board for a meeting have been ignored. In August 2022, the leadership of First Fund customers engaged the fund manager, Octane DC Limited, for a discussion centered on the management of the fund and any possible redemptions. They explained that they were provided with data that showed the status of the fund and how documents of some investment portfolios could not be accessed, but since then, nothing has been done. The bigger question is how these customers cope with the current economic challenges.
Let me look at you as an individual, as a young man who is also trying to, cope with this current economic hardship. How is it impacting on you?
It has been very bad because I started with First Fund in 2013, and I was using the money to pay my school fees and then also my rent. So in the height of COVID, they revoked the license in 2019. COVID came around in 2020. I had to pay 2 years rent. It was just difficult because you save for a rainy day, and when it is during the rainy day, you can't even access that money. We intend publishing the images of the board of directors online. They owe us money. They have a fiduciary responsibility towards us. So if you are not forthcoming with them, we'll start sharing their images online. We've done investigation. We know where each and every one lives. We will also go and occupy their various homes, because if we cannot have peace in our homes, we will also make sure that you also don't have peace in your various homes. So these are kind of the things. As for legal options, we are still exploring the legal options. We are still almost in discussion with lawyer Martin Pegbu and other civil rights-based lawyers or human rights lawyers to see how far we can go.
George is unable to access his over 100,000 Ghana cedis.
I think that is the only way for, Ghana is a sovereign nation and it's a democratic country, managed with a constitution. So I think if the legal way is the way we can get our money, why not? Because this thing has affected me very, very much. Sometimes when I tell people what I have gone through as a result of this money locked up, you don't want to know. You don't want to know.
I should believe you are married.
Yeah, I'm married.
And how are you taking care of your family?
Right now, somebody who could have afforded an Uber car, a car on my own. Right now, I'm doing work and pay. I've gone to acquire somebody's car and I'm doing work and pay to sustain myself and my family. You get the point? Yeah. This is the letter First Bank gave me before the collapse, that if I give them 6 months, they will give me all my money. So this is the letter signed by the CEO. This is the letter. And that time self elapsed, and I called them. 2 days for me to go and take my money. There was news on the radio that SEC has revoked the license of First Bank. I nearly collapsed that day.
Wow.
I was at work, my former workplace. I was at work. My boss had to ask me to go home, because upon what I told him, my monies that has been locked up with First Bank, with what I had at SH Life Assurance, and not to even mention Men's Gold. And what was happening at that material time, my boss asked me to go home because of, I nearly collapsed that day.
These customers believe that the difficulties shareholders are going through can be blamed on the board of First Fund Limited. For Joy Business, James Ishin.
Great stuff there. And that's it for the bulletin for tonight. I am Pious Kojo Backah. You can always get more business news when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Always a pleasure serving you. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye-bye.